The Coaching Hour with
Boitumelo
on Zoe Live Radio. www.zoeliveradio.co.za.
Good evening. It's a Tuesday night. It's our date nights. It's the Coaching Hour with Boitumelo. In this show, we build people that transform societies, and we bring you all the motivation, all the coaches. We bring you knowledge that will build you and build your business. I have a wonderful coach with me tonight. Coach Sheila is not a stranger to this Coaching Hour. We are going to talk a lot about your online business. Coach Sheila, welcome. Please introduce yourself, reintroduce yourself, just in case we have new listeners,
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Zoe Live Radio. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for having me. To the listeners out there, hello once again. So I've introduced myself a couple of times. So if you've listened to different sessions that we've had, you'll hear that my elevator pitch or my value proposition, is constantly evolving, and I think that's what it is. As entrepreneurs, when you find success in various areas of your trade, that's when you trade. That's when you also evolve. Okay, so but in a nutshell, once again, my name is Sheila Baloyi, and I'm a sales coach. Well, my title will always vary. Sales coach is part of a business coaching, area, and I do sales and leadership. My focus is sales and leadership coaching, and I coach sales professionals, sales leaders, mainly to coach and to mentor, to manage or to lead their sales people, to perform at their best, at their peak. My second focus of coaching, particularly in this era, is entrepreneurs and service-based entrepreneurs, which includes coaches, course creators, consultants, and female-based service-based entrepreneurs. And my reason or my mission, my why am I doing this particular coaching in this case, is to help female entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs to shift their mindset around sales concepts, or increasing and building the revenue for their businesses, to create and develop resilient habits and mindset, and to confidently be able to sell themselves and their businesses as well.
Yes, Coach.
I run. Yes, the whole reason we're starting businesses is to be able to make money, right? I know that majority, as we come into the coaching business, particularly, or the transformation business, right? The business of transformation. We want to help people, but the bigger thing is we can never be able to help people if we are not able to expand our being, and that includes that comes in various ways, right? So if we're not able to make money, we are not able to create the kind of impact that we really want to have in the world. So my services include business coaching, where I help entrepreneurs with strategy, especially around their sales and marketing strategies, how to build, how to launch their businesses online, how to create their sales coaching programs, and this is not just for coaching programs, but for signature services, especially for the entrepreneurs I help. So, your consultants, your course creators, your trainers as well, right? I work in my business with financial strategists. I work with people that are already doing concierge services and other professional services. That would be the part of the business coaching. And with that, I always bring it down to a concept or a methodology that I introduced, and I spoke to you, Coach Boitumelo, when I started in my first interview about care to convert, right? Which is, in a nutshell, a simple process of how you can elevate your sales mindset and your sales processes for you to thrive in your business. And I do also online courses. My flagship would be the Care to Convert, which is a sales program, and the second one is Clarity to Clients, where it'll take you to how to clarify exactly why you're in business, what you do, your mindset around concept and challenges and opportunities. Because half the time we talk about the fear of failure, and we hardly talk about the fear of success. And I think that course takes you through that and building your own story, because in sales, it's stories that sells. So your story, your brand story, your client, who your client is, your programs, clarifying that signature program or that service, the signature service that you're offering, right? Your messaging, and so that will help you in client attraction or client acquisition also. I do one-on-one coaching services also for mindset and for goal setting, for accountability. I also do group coachings as well, and I do public talks or keynote speaking as well. So I know I said a lot, but in a nutshell, I am in the business of helping entrepreneurs move their needle, be it mindset strategy into the growth for their own businesses.
Listen, we are talking transformation here. We are talking growth. We are talking money making. We are talking a whole lot of, empowerment and strategies to empower women. We are talking empowerment to entrepreneurs in general. I am so excited, Coach Sheila, that you are back on our show, and I'm excited about all the things that you have been talking about right here. I cannot wait to unfold this. And just for the listeners to note, this is going to be a 4-week program. We are going to be talking about all of these things in 4 weeks, in a period of 4 weeks. And don't worry, we are going to unpack each and every one of them so that you are able to learn and digest them and ask questions and ask more questions. We are going to take our time, and Coach Sheila is going to teach you all the way. In that 4 weeks, you are going to come out a transformed business person, a transformed entrepreneur. So, Coach, take it away and let us know, where do we start today? Do we start with launching your online business? Where do we start today? We are going to focus on one topic today. Which one?
Yes. So in our last session, so this is for anyone. If you haven't been listening, you need to make sure that you go back to the previous sessions, just so you can get what we've been talking about. Also, the inspiration on this is, Coach, when I started about 3 years ago, I had a model and a framework, and I was mentored in an entrepreneurship club, right? And having to take all of that everything that I learned and applied in my business, first year of business was a breeze. And when the pandemic hit, the reality is things needed to change in our businesses. And coming into the online space, we sort of jumped into it, right?
Yeah.
And for me particularly, I don't know, this is for someone else also who also feels like, how do I really do this? What is the method to do this? Where do I even begin? Right? So what we're going to be talking about is all those small details, the small steps that I needed someone to hold my hand and say, this is where you start with online business. Right? It's no different to physical or your brick and mortar business, but you will see that you need all those building blocks for you to be able to feel more confident, more competent, and to be successful as well. Because for each and every different type of adult learner on this platform also who will be listening, some people are doers, right? Some people need to understand the reason behind why we do what we do, right? So I always say, if you were to ask me at any point in time to jump, instead of me asking you how high should I jump, I will always ask you, why should I jump? So I'm that kind of learner. I'm that kind of person. And I know that there's quite a lot of other, adult learners here that are going to resonate. So this is going to resonate with you if you are starting out, right? There's one of the values that I really appreciate from my late mom, where she always said, you are never too big to start over, and you need to always be ready to start from scratch. And I think this online space has taught us that, right? That you need to be in a startup mode, and you need to learn the basics, which at times we forget. We jump into social media, we jump into organic marketing, we jump into selling in different various ways without even understanding what we're doing. So today we're talking about the pillars of building an online business, right? So this is free information that every single person can find on internet, and you will notice that the similarity of the pillars that I'm going to be sharing with you. These are pillars that you would normally incorporate when you're writing your own business plan, right? And we're just going to make it as simple as possible, just so it's relatable and it's actionable also.
Thank you, Coach. I am looking forward to that. Let's just get into it.
Let's get right into it. So the pillars, the 6 pillars, like I said, these are when you're starting an online business. First, what we see is the of you need to have content. You need to be selling. You need to go into DMs. You need to build lists and so forth, right? But it boils down to, where do they all fit in? So here are the 6 pillars, right? The first one will be marketing. The second one is sales. It's in no particular order. I'm just putting it like that so that you understand. Why there's certain things that you need to do first, and I'll explain later. I'll explain as we go. So marketing, sales, and it's your product, right? Your operations, finances, and your mindset. Right. I think the biggest one of them all will be mindset, because that is the driver for everything. Right. At any point when you start, for you to be able to build momentum, for you to be able to have the energy, for you to have the confidence, you have to really, go through all the deep things, your beliefs, your abundance mindset, your confidence, clarifying your story. And I think I've shared this in a couple of sessions, that I've been having, that when we talk about having that story, your story that is going to relate, and that's where it all starts. Your mindset, with your mindset work, you're going to be able to unleash the story that will always resonate with someone who's part of your audience, or someone that is going to be going through the transformation that you're offering, right? So if I were to put it in a loop, if we were to put it in a loop, I don't have a whiteboard here, I would draw it there. But this is how you would look at it. Your marketing, why did I start with marketing? Your marketing will help you create consistent leads, right? And it will help you really clarify and qualify your leads. So we'll talk about what sort of marketing in this particular case that we're referring to. Your sales in this particular case, as the second step, will be a lot easier if your marketing, messaging, and advertising, or brand sharing, awareness there is clarified, right? So if your marketing is clear, sales become a lot easier. So when we hear of everyone saying, I don't want to sound too salesy, or sales is icky for me or for my client, those are the kind of things that they're referring to. The messaging or the marketing wasn't clear enough. It didn't resonate. They didn't connect. It's not relevant enough. That is the reason you find that sales become a hard sell, because now you have to convince someone, you have to really persuade someone, you have to really do more of the education, which was meant to be done by your marketing, right? When it comes to your product, as I mentioned to that, online business is like your brick and mortar. If you were running a store, a shoe shop, for example, there must be a product on display. And with that product, there will be your high selling product. There will be sales specials that are running. So this is what's happening behind the scenes on your online marketing also. So your product, there must be a product, and the product, we call it a digital product in this particular case. That product is the one that makes the conversations or the relationships between you and your customers a lot easier, right? What I've been really getting at is I'm reworking my course on the clarifying your clarity to clients, is that with the product, normally we come up with a product that we think our customers need, whereas we need to offer them what they need and what they want. And the sweet spot in between what they need and what they want is actually what makes online business a lot easier, or digital products to sell. And with digital products in this particular case, I'm referring to that signature service that I was talking about, be it your one-on-one coaching or your courses in this particular case, or your training packages, right? Or whatever consulting service your signature consulting service would be. It can be a group coaching, it can be workshops, whatever. Even if it's like a mastermind or it's a webinar, it becomes a digital product. So that's why you see on online, when you talk of online business or online shopping, what comes to mind, people will always think of a store. There must be a store where someone has to click for buying. So that's what a digital product should actually enable you to do. Mm-hmm. And we spoke of operations, and when we start, I think someone else might relate with this also. When you're working on your own as a solopreneur, you have to be a lot of things within your business. You have to be the visionary, you have to be the technical person, you have to be the salesperson, you have to be the graphic designer, you have to be everything in one, right? And for any other person, I think as you go through the learning and as you research what exactly is it that you do, you will notice and realize that there's the concept of leverage. And I think I've learned the concept of leveraging quite a few years ago. And I think that's the most important thing that as entrepreneurs, we need to be aware of. So being able to leverage, there's three things that we can leverage. It's your time, and it's money, and it's resources or people, right? So you can leverage your networks for you to be able to grow, and attract the right clients that you're looking for, or the kind of business that you are looking for, right? And you can leverage your money by being able to pay for services for other people to do the work for you, so that you don't get to that state where you burn out, or you end up not knowing what to do in your business, or you feel so stagnant and you have to leave the business, right? The first one, which I said, it's time. I think this is the most valuable one. I mean, if we can leverage time, this is the time for you to be able to work on your business and time to work in your business. And for anyone else to be able to leverage all these three things, you need to have operating systems. And I think we talk about it. So if anyone out there, I'm one of those people that have to document everything, so all those things, if you manage to be able to document them, you'll be able to pass it on to someone else who can take over most of the bulk of the work, so that you can focus on the most important things that you as a business owner should actually be focusing on. So that's where the operations come in. So Coach, I see you want to ask me a question before I do the last two pillars.
No. I'm actually glad that we are talking about leveraging time. We're talking about leveraging your resources. It's something that I was also talking to Coach Comfort about, as we're talking about businesses and how people must understand themselves before they actually embark on a business. When you understand what your capabilities are, You are able to say, I am capable of doing 1, 2, 3. And this challenge, I can, dissect the challenge and look at it and say, I'm capable of doing this part of the challenge, and that part is not, I'm not able to. For you to then save up on your time and not waste a lot of time trying to resolve something that you are not capable of, or you do not even have the capacity to resolve. Engage other people that that they will run with the challenge and they will achieve it. And I love the way you have just put it, Coach. When you do this, you are able to save on money because you are also able to save time. People like to say time is money. It is true. When you know, and you know that you can leverage on these other two, you will be able to save time. You'll be able to save, yourself from going down. I mean, if you know your capabilities, you will be able to save time. You'll be able to save other resources. So I'm absolutely with you there, Coach.
Yeah, you are so right about knowing who you are. And I think that's one of the things that, the reasons for starting a business will always be very, very important. In most cases, the reasons people come to business, come into entrepreneurship journeys, it varies. Some people are have that entrepreneurial spirit from, as early as 5 years of age. Some people, it's circumstances. Some people, it's just passion. And without knowing who you are, without understanding exactly your abilities, those are the kind of things that will always be a threat. And I think as an entrepreneur, you always work towards making sure that you don't have to be looking over your shoulder, and you are right about knowing yourself. If you know certain things, and it's, as much as it's not an easy task, look, the flip side of the coin is that you need to be aware, you need to know all these areas of your business very well, right? So that even when you have someone else doing it for you, you've done it yourself before. But at times you just, the idea of working smarter and not working harder is very, very vital. And I think, if there is a way that we can all try and go out of our way, because you will see when we talk about mindset, most of the time we get in our own way, right? All these imposter syndromes, the self-doubt, and all these other things are all because of overthinking, of wanting to be perfect, of wanting to do other things. I was one of those people. I think I'm a work in progress when it comes to all those kind of things as well, right? And the minute you realize that you are standing in your own way of growth, then that's when that light bulb goes up, and then you have to change. So when we talk about that pivoting, being able to adapt, this is what we're referring to, knowing yourself and being able to leverage what is available for you to use,
Absolutely.
All right. So let me go to the last two, and then I'll go back. I'll be going deeper and deeper into it. I just needed to start in terms of that loop that I was referring to, right? So finances. I think the bigger thing about finances, a colleague of mine was saying that we want to talk about finances when there's lots of money and there's lots of taxes to be paid, or this and that, salaries and so forth. And when you don't have money, you don't plan for all of those things, excuse me. So unfortunately, those are the kind of things, especially when you want to ensure that you are good, or you are reaching your sales goals, rather, you will need to know your numbers. And the minute you know how much you need to sell, how much you need to make, what is your money goal, and you reverse engineer that whole process, it'll help you, be mindful of the processes that needs to be in place for you to be able to make your monthly goals or your targets as we go along. Yes, things will happen because that's what it is. And when you're not reaching your goals, when you're not able to sell, that is an indicator of what is not working in your business, and you sort of need to work on it. But it all boils down is, if you know your numbers, you know exactly what is going to go through your sales. If you don't know your numbers, you can't really sell. You can't say, no, I'll try blindly. No one goes on a journey without knowing where they're going. If you are attempting to be a 5-figure or whatever number of figures you're aiming for in your business, you really need to know the numbers, how you're going to get to it. Yeah. And then the last part, which is mindset, is what we're talking about now. Firstly, you need to know yourself. I've got a quick exercise, and I think we can actually get into it, where this is, sorry, I know you might not be able to see me. I'm just quickly opening set of questions that I did. This is just, something that's will help you as you're working on that mindset, your mindset, and it is going to help you also with your brand story, your brand positioning, so that you can always go through it. There is, look, there's a lot of books that we can read. There's lots of coaching techniques that we can use. One that comes to mind when we're talking about mindset, and I've been trying, I'm going to be a little technical in this one, but just not go too deep, because I know coaches will definitely be able to go back and research on it and start reflecting on it. Our cognitive bias. So I think it's our cognitive bias that I'd like us to really start working on, as people in the business of transformation, right? I don't want to say just coaches, because consultants and trainers and course creators are also in that business. But I'm trying to open here, just a sec for me. I'll give you, these are the set of questions that you can actually, work on. And I think this will help you know who you are. It'll help you over time. You have to do it, many a times. It's not just a once-off exercise, right? It's going to help you also try and understand your relevance in terms of the marketing that you are doing, the business that you are in, and so forth. It might be limited. It's questions that and it's just 6 questions. So I'm quickly going to go through them, just a sec. So the reality is that, there's no easy button in business. Some formulas might work for me, might not work for you. These pillars, I feel like they are pillars for when you start, and they are also pillars that you can always rework or work on as you are scaling, right? And when do you know that you are at a point of scaling? It is at a point where you realize that you need to leverage on your own time. For your business to grow, you need to be able to have other people taking care of other tasks, so that you can focus on the bigger vision of the business. And I think as entrepreneurs, we constantly need to be thinking bigger than what we're going through, irrespective of what the circumstances may be, right? So we were talking about the 6 pillars on building that business, your online business foundation. And I wanted to share with you a set of questions on, things that are actually, an exercise that you would normally do on a regular basis. So for us, for entrepreneurs to constantly be working on themselves, I think that's the most important area, because it helps you clarify your message. It really helps you clarify who you're actually trying to serve, and what sort of transformation you wanting for the people that you are serving. So here are the set of questions that I'd like you to sort of try and work on. It's in a set of 3s. So it's about, let me see, about 5-6 questions. And I'm just going to ask them individually. And then when you find time, just work on them. These are the questions that, like I'm saying, that it's going to help you build your brand story. It's not just for your brand story, but exactly understanding what is it, why are you doing what you're doing, right? And essentially with online business, that is one of the biggest area for people to know, know and trust you. So it's actually know, like, and trust. For people to know, like, and trust you, they need to understand the kind of value you're creating with your services. They also need to know exactly, who you are, so that they sort of whatever that you're bringing as transformation will resonate with them on that particular level. We always know that people buy you instead of buying what exactly is it that you are doing. So I think these questions are going to help you also on that. They're going to help you clarify your story, because remember what I was mentioning, that part of the building blocks, the bigger pillars that I've mentioned, sort of has the two, which is marketing and sales, that really needs you to that sort of propels you to be successful. In order to know whether the business is working or not, is whether there's money or there's revenue coming in the business. And those are the two pillars, your marketing and your sales. Marketing will help you with creating your brand awareness. Sales will help you with claiming your position, with your positioning, with your with really serving the right people, the qualified people that you should be working with. Over time, I truly believe that will change because of the transformation that the people that you are helping, find from you. We always say that your brand name or your brand or whatever that you do is highly determined by the transformation that your customers are receiving, your clients are receiving from you. So here are the set of questions. The first one, write about or think about 3 life experiences. And I think there's one of my favorite coaches, master coach, life coach also, called Brooke Castile, who works with April Franks on this, where they sort of help you identify or clarify your story. And I think that is the biggest challenge, especially when you come to online business, not knowing which story is relevant. And I think once you're able to clarify that story, it becomes a lot easier. Think about Nike, think about all the other big brands. You buy them based on, the stories that they've told, or the stories that you already know that makes them credible or makes them to be a trusted brand or, product that you would want to have. So think about 3 life experiences, good or bad, that sets you apart, that makes you different, because that is what will definitely help you in establishing exactly the outcome and the purpose of why you want to do or you want to put your online business up front, And then the second one would be, think about skills that you have that nobody else have. In the past week, I've gotten to a few people ask me this question so many times, that what is your superpower? And I think we downplay that in most cases, because we may feel that we are not good enough to actually even share that, because we are not unique. But the truth is, our superpowers, our different skills, those are the ones that sets us apart. And talents. Now, the next one is talent. So there's a difference between skill and talent. Talent is something that comes naturally to you, something that when other people have to learn it as a skill, for you is natural. It's something that you can do with your eyes closed. So half the time we don't even know where to begin. And I think this online space has sort of dictated around what we should be saying, what we should be doing, we should be selling, or what we should be providing, online for us to be the experts that we actually are. So think about those talents, and I think those are the kind of things that no one can ever take away from you. So from then on, think about three people that you know, and I think when we spoke about that leveraging, it's such an important area that once you know, you can leverage your skills, your talent, your superpowers, your life experiences, whether good or bad. That is leveraging your capabilities, right? That's the one area that we spoke about. Now, think about 3 people that we can, that are most going to be influential in your space. We talk about 3 influential people. We all know someone, something it came up for me in the past couple of weeks, where someone was talking about in your lifetime, you sort of need 3 types of people. One that can talk about you, one that can talk with you, and one that can talk to you. So if you know 3 people that can actually do that for you, that will sort of also help you, that will leverage or, propel you to a level of success in your business, because, you can rely on these people, someone that can talk about you. And this comes in various ways. For your operations, for further growth in your business, there's various ways where we can actually grow. Things like, affiliate partners, those are the kind of things that you will help you, talk about your business or improve your business in various ways. Those are the kind of things at the starting point, you don't think about it, because you just think you should be the only person talking about your business, or just be the only person selling within your business. So, and I think those collaborations, those are the ones that really help you to actually build a profitable business, because you can always talk about someone else's expertise. You can always talk about someone else's business and transformation. That is not going to take away your brilliance. And I think that's one of the things that we sort of really need to be thinking about in terms of the leveraging of resources, as we're talking about, right? So those are the 3 connections or 3 people that you sort of need. The bigger idea of having those people, it's also to link your characteristics, your messaging or your tsunamis is not as unique. But the bigger thing is you need to be aware earlier on that as you are building your online business, people will like you and people will not like you. Those are the set of questions that will always help you to, help you clarify your story, right? And that story will help you now unleash other areas of your business, which is your brand and so forth. So remember, when it comes to your marketing, I'm mentioning these, we're going to go into depth in the coming weeks on marketing and sales alignment, and what sort of selling tools, or where else can you really position yourself better for selling online. And I think those are the kind of things that we're going to be talking about in depth. So essentially, an online business is about how you can leverage your personal brand plus your online, your business brand, and that will also help you bring about the product that we're talking about, right? Because that having a product, you've got a business, you have an income generating product or source, right? So that's why it's important that you're able to have that. So overall, the pillars that we mentioned here, if we combine it to the previous session where we spoke about what are sort of things that you need to have when you're running an online business, it talks about 10 areas, where the first part would be understanding your message, right? And understanding what is it that you're doing, what you are about, what transformation, the outcome. I think the bigger thing is, once you know the outcome that your clients are going to receive in a transformation business, then it becomes a lot easier to sort of put everything else in place, because then your audience, you're not going to be talking to everyone, which is something that we constantly highlight, right? So it's understanding and claiming your message. The second one would be picking your audience, because the sooner you refine that, the easier then it becomes to really find exactly what you're doing, and to know what you're talking about. I mean, I think when we see what's happening on social media, you need to understand that that is part of marketing, right? And that is part of marketing in terms of brand creation and generating lead generation also. So if you just putting out information there, eventually that's what we always we start with. You sort of like, let me just throw the net, hopefully it'll catch some fish, and then you pull out with with just hope and no strategy. And I think that's where very pragmatic adult learners would be, or reflectors would sort of step back and say, and try and understand exactly what is it that they're doing and why they're doing that, so once you've discovered your audience, you then have to realize what problem that you're trying to solve for them. What are their pain points? And interesting enough, most people will not recognize or will not even accept that they have a specific pain point. Right. That's why it's important for our messaging, or whatever that we put out as a sales copy, can help them realize that they have certain pain points. Let's think about it in terms of examples. When you're trying to help someone to clarify. Okay, maybe let's talk about weight loss, health coaching, right? Or wellness coaching, something along those lines. So if someone has a weight problem, they might not just be thinking it's a diet issue. They might be thinking it's just a diet issue, but you'll find that it's more of a psychological issue. Right? How do you understand? How do you get the balance to help someone see that they don't have a weight issue, but they have a psychological issue, which is mindset, right? Which might be mindset or motivation of why they're not able to sustain the diet process, or a training or workout regime that they may have. How do you ensure that someone doesn't see what's in front of them just being the weight versus what lies behind the weight, or the lack of, growth or progress in terms of weight loss? Yeah. So those are the steps, right? Once you actually know the steps, what steps does someone need to take to get to the transformation that we're talking about? Then you'll be able to create a better solution in terms of what is it that you're offering, right? And I think that's a bigger part. We start with the solution and we forget to put the steps. How does someone get from step 1 to step 12, for example, which is very, very important. The technology that comes with it, it's just the hosting. I think half the time, I'm always very cautious about talking about automation. It's my favorite thing to do. I think that will replace the hard work that you do as an entrepreneur in the transformation business. For example, let's just say if you're a coach, that will help you, sort of take time away from you being in front of client facing all the time, So automation for me is also quite big. And I think it's something that will constantly change and evolve. So that's why it's important for everyone to sort of start learning about it. Some of the things, like websites or systems that you use, tools that you use, at the beginning you try to really leverage on using as free as possible, and effective as much as you can, so I'm not going to talk much about your website or landing pages, but you would need some direction, some sense of direction, where when somebody is interested in your work, how are they going to get hold of you, right? And because having a website, you need to have a website that is also going to be able to generate leads for you. And I think and make you money. I think that's the most important thing. You don't want, gone are the days where you just want a website for the look of being professional or just having a brand that people can recognize. So for brand awareness, you sort of have to have something that people can really recognize and be able to resonate with, right? And they will give you feedback from there. But ultimately, your website or any other system needs to be there so that it can host your information that you are sharing, the value that you are creating in people's lives, and also must generate leads for you. By that, you need to have where you you're sort of giving free content so that you, in exchange for email addresses or some other information for you to better understand who your client is, right? Okay. Yeah. So the bigger part, and we hear it about this a lot. When you starting out, I also didn't know. I mean, we know about launches, right? You've been to a cocktail party when someone is opening a hair salon, a beauty salon, or there's a clothing shop that is open and there's this beautiful launch. But ideally, that's what needs to happen also for an online business, right? Now, on an online business, you're going to have various launches. First, the launch for your business to announce that this is the business that you're in, and this is who you're serving. Just to get people to know about you and to share and to let people know about what is it that you do. From then on, it's going to be a launch on a specific product, and I think given the year, part of the goals that one sets on an online business is having to have a launch quarterly. So what do I mean by that? Have a launch for a specific product. It might even be one product, but you might be adding something new to the specific product. For your one-on-one services, for example, you might now add a VIP day. What is a VIP day? It would be like a breakfast or a lunch where you're having like a masterclass session for everyone that's taken your one-on-one sessions. If it has to be something online, like an online program, you would have to launch that so that it stays fresh in people's minds. Think about it. So fashion stores or any other shop would have a specific sale, the 25% off, then it becomes a 75% off kind of thing. So that product promotion and program promotion is very, very important in this online business as well. So that's why it's important that the strategy on whatever social media platforms you're using, they are towards launching or promoting a specific product that you are selling, right? So when it comes to content, I think the bigger thing is we always looking of ways or different strategies, what content to put out. And I think that could be one of the things that holds a lot of people back, right? For someone that has so much to share and so much transformation to work with all the time, it's important that you have a platform. So it could be one of the social media platforms. I'm very big on ensuring that everyone that I interact with, especially people that I work with, to make sure that they understand that there is different contents, right? And I think I've mentioned it before on this platform. Content that you put up on social media, right? It doesn't belong to you. Right. But there's content that you're putting, educational content that you put either on your newsletters, on your webinars, on your podcast, on your YouTube. Those are content that you will own forever. Content on social media is content that it's available for a set period. It's going to be 24 hours, or unless someone else watches that content in a year's time, that's when it will pop up. But it will not be top of mind. This is a YouTube channel that someone has had, 3 years ago that they can always go back to, right? So I think that boils down to strategy. And I think in strategy, we've spoken about a few. Your marketing strategy, firstly, which includes different areas, right, of marketing. I think that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about in the coming week as well. Your sales strategy also, we're going to have to clarify exactly what goes into that. And your content strategy also, that is something that we'll definitely look into, because it's a link. It's the link between your marketing and your sales. So these are the building blocks. These are the things that influencers, I'm calling them influencers in the industry of coaching or of speaking business, of training business, the likes of Brandon Bashard, Tony Robbins. Those are the people, they sort of have a structure where they're working on those kind of steps that are sort of mentioned, and it becomes a lot easier because you need to once you get those steps in order, that's how you know where your money is sort of coming from. It takes a lot of work. That is why there's no fast track to success kind of button in this whole business, which brings us to that mindset area, which is quite big for me. And I think the more we look into it, it becomes easier to actually take in, and it gives you comfort where you know that instead you're not supposed to be on a hustling mode all the time, not to be on that hamster wheel all the time, because it's a lifelong journey. It's not there must be we always know that there is speed to success. There must be some level of speed to success. But I think the bigger thing is having that speed to succeed, or failing fast, even the speed for different levels. For failing, and in this particular case, it's not selling enough, not having all these tools that I'm talking about, not having a digital product on time, not, producing enough content. You know that you need to do that. You allow yourself to go through it and fail fast. And then from then on, when you're about to get to the speed of success, you need to understand the timing also, because that boils down to the strategies that you would have implemented, learning and working on yourself and on your business, versus constantly working and not getting to the results that you are wanting to achieve. And I think that's the beauty of really being an entrepreneur, because it's not a short left kind of situation. I'm glad that I'm speaking on a South African platform. So when I say short left, people will understand. Yeah. So those promotional partners, I think, the affiliate partnerships, and I think it's something that, if you see online, half the time you want to associate with a specific group of people that have your back. They want you to succeed. They can easily share your information, and we talk about it all the time. Promote, like, share. It doesn't cost much to really support a small business, or a fellow a colleague in the same kind of industry as you, because it doesn't take away your brilliance. And I think the minute we realize that, the easier it'll become, and that's why the space will be even safer, safer for all of us trying to be successful and to build profitable businesses online, because this space is big. I think it can accommodate all of us actually, because with the world and the population it has, there's just enough for all of us to share, So the promotional partnerships, those are the kind of things. That's why you'll see there's influencer marketing, that where you would even partner up with an influencer that can sort of promote your business. And I think those are the kind of things that you need to know from the onset when you go into this business, and leverage on those if you're able to do that. So the affiliate partnerships, there's a difference between the affiliate partnerships and the influencer marketing. So influencer marketing, you would have to usually pay for the services, because the influencer may have a specific following that might help you reach, your clients in that space. And the affiliate marketing can be, yes?
I'm thinking, when you're talking about that, I'm thinking Batu and Somizi partnership.
Yes, imagine that. That's such a powerful, partnership, right?
Yeah.
In this particular case, although for them, they sort of mentioned there is an element of actual partnership there. But if you look at it from that perspective, one is, a well-known celebrity, and this brand is going places because it really, really, benefits both of them in this particular case.
Yeah, true.
And for us, I mean, there are leaders in the coaching industry. Yes, it might take just a phone call if they like you, if they want to support you. I was listening to another seminar where they were talking about mentorship, relationship and leveraging these kind of relationships. So I think it's a constant putting yourself out there and asking, because if you don't ask, you will not get that response, And I think that's where this whole process of working with a coach sort of really works for startup entrepreneurs, particularly for entrepreneurs within the first 5 years, 1 to 5 years of business, because that's when you really need all the resources and help that you can really get, And I think it's important, someone recommends you, someone is talking about you, that really makes things, that opens doors quite often. So that would be the influencer marketing partnership, right? So the affiliate partnership is literally between peers, where I'm in business coaching or sales coaching, and part of the program that I'm running is to help on coaching on confidence and success mindset. But I would need to also partner with someone on money mindset. Even though it's an area of mine, but there is someone who's dedicated to be a coach, a money coach, for example, or different other things, or relationship coaching, because of what happens when you're an entrepreneur and how you build relationships lies on your coaching. Your inter and intrapersonal, space or relationships also. So you might need further guidance, and somebody else who is dedicated to do that would definitely be able to help you with that, right? Very importantly, in as much as I help you I will be coaching you on how to generate or look for areas of revenue streams. I might also have to partner up with a financial strategist or financial coach who is going to help you with all the other technical terms and so forth when it comes to finances and all of that. So there's mutual connections or partnerships that we can always leverage. And I think coming into this online space, that's where you're seeing it a lot. In most cases, for example, you'll see someone being a podcast guest or a radio guest. In this particular case, you would find that someone usually has like a group of people, that they always go to, because they are in that sort of partnership, where they know if I'm promoting or sharing any content for Zoe Life Radio, it's not about me, and it doesn't take away what I do, but it only, puts my credibility forward that I am in a community, and that's why that community, that space of community is important. And that we will talk further about it when it comes to marketing and that sales alignment, because everyone wants to belong. And I think the bigger part of online business is that you have that advantage of creating that space where people belong, I hope this was practical enough. I know it's too much information, but I know it's also going to be very helpful to help other people to research exactly in various areas where would they need help and where would they need to put more effort in trying to build and establish their online businesses. All right.
Absolutely.
So there's
absolutely, Coach.
Yeah. Just the other day, I was actually marveling at. I had an aha moment that, there's certain things that we learned throughout the years, the math, the science. When we talk about the science and the art, and I think it's so important that you understand there's certain concepts that we constantly learn about in business, about the compound effect, the nuclear effect, and it all sounds like these experiments that one may have missed in following the commerce stream of things versus following the science stream of things. And I think it's very, very important to understand both the art and the science, because Both are very, very essential. These concepts, the concept of repetition, I think for me, it's that we talk about consistency quite a lot, that you need to be consistent for you to be top of mind. And that's what makes it the rat race of trying to show up and be there all the time, and and do all of these other things. But it's really a choice. Once you understand that the science part of things means that you can replicate, you need to repeat every area of success. You need to be able to repeat it. And if whatever that you're doing, your strategies, you really work, always, it doesn't matter what level of business you may be in, you would still need to go back to all these pillars that we spoke about, and it takes the art to be able to repeat and to excel in all of them. Right. That's why business is a lifelong journey. It's not a short. It's not really a short trip, and I think that's the most important thing. So one advice, and one of the areas that I like to really help or work with coaches that I'm working with on is that being able to work on these areas, these pillars on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, especially when you're still starting up. Within the first 5 years of business, you would need to work on these on a monthly basis, right? Your marketing, your sales, and not one or the other. Because if you're working just only on the marketing, you start neglecting the sales. And once you neglect the sales, you don't have revenue. The finances are not running. You're not able to pay for operations or all the other things that you're sort of really working on. And give it time. I think the reality is that it must be on your terms of what success is, and it must always be in alignment with what you want to see happening within your business.
Absolutely.
Look, at the end of the day, I think, as things evolve, those pillars will always be the most vital to make sure that you run a sustainable business, whether online or offline, So, I think second most important, we spoke about, mindset being the key. And I think that we will always include or incorporate in each session, right? But next, in the coming 2 weeks, let's talk further on the marketing and the sales part of things, because operations for me is really being about documenting your standard procedures, what you do on a daily basis, what you do when there's a crisis, so that even when you are not there, I think, we will all have a different story to tell around the pandemic, how it really affected solo entrepreneurs, the fatigue around what you need to do, your mindset as you are trying to build, and so forth, your resilience levels. I think that we all have a different story to share. If I may share just a little bit of my own resilience story, I think it's all about when you're in it for the long haul, you're not affected by the uncertainties of how things are not happening at that particular time. And there's always that you're always open to that moment of being. And that moment of being is just allowing yourself, understanding exactly what is happening around you and within you, so that you're still able to thrive on your own level of success, because the market and the internet will always try and establish or determine what does success look like, but ultimately it is based on what you want. And I think these basics will take a lot of learning. There's new material on a daily basis around these pillars, and that's why it's important that one can always work on it. The good thing here is that we fail forward if there is such a thing. I would rather reverse it and say we succeed forward with everything. The good, the bad, which is the part of the improvement. For me, it's succeeding forward, and I think that is what this whole online business is really, really all about. showing your skeletons. The funny thing is, we might be thinking it's visible on online platforms, but there's quite a lot of other things that you may be doing that we don't live our lives online. We don't live our lives online. You don't see your customers online. Yeah. You're promoting your business online, but you are doing the hard part of work, in conversations with your clients, phone calls, messaging, emails, and, all those kind of things. And I think we will unpack all of that further on. So, yeah, Coach, I think for me, that's more or less all of it for now. I think this is a conversation that we can go on and on and on about. I hope this was valuable for you and the listeners, out there, because these are the kind of tools that I wish somebody was there to say, hey, look, before you can even think of building a brand, understand all of these things, position yourself properly around these things, before you can even do anything else. What is the long term? What does the long term of these structures look like for you? And I hope that really helped someone out there today.
Very interesting, very informative, educative. Coach, I tell you, this has been the most capturing moment. The way you're unpacking this evening, it's very informative. I have taken notes. I hope our listeners have been taking notes. Where I stand now, I feel like, I wish I had somebody that, would have told me about these things long before I even thought of coaching, long before, I'm sure somebody is listening and say, I wish somebody told me these things before I started my business, because at this point I feel like starting all over, Yeah. With the knowledge that you have given us, Coach. It's very empowering stuff. I am looking forward to next week, Tuesday night, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again. I just want us to just wrap it up. I'm very, very appreciative of the information that you have shared this evening, Coach. And I totally agree with you. You cannot win something. You cannot go back and refer on something that you did not write. It's also biblical, there's a scripture on Habakkuk. I think it's Habakkuk 2, verse 2. It says, write the vision down, though it might tarry, it will come to fruition. So these things are there. It's biblical. Write everything down. As you achieve, you document everything. Those things will culminate into a policy document for your company. At some stage, it will culminate into a strategy, a very strong strategy that has been evolving with time, at some point, and you will have a winning strategy if you keep on documenting everything, that the wins, the losses, the challenges, the failures. As you said, Coach, we fail forward, we succeed forward. Thank you so much for joining us this week, Coach. We look forward to talking to you again next week. And to South Africans, I hope that you continue to adhere to COVID-19 lockdown regulations, continue to wear your masks. The numbers are growing very fast and furious. We need to take care. We need to take care of ourselves, our children, our families. Isolate if you know that you have been exposed, and limit the places that you go to, the super spreaders, like the funerals, the parties. Just limit yourself from those things. They will never come to an end. I understand where we have to support family members, at some point it's unavoidable, but, if we can cut down on the numbers that attend to these events in our lives, and we make sure that everybody is wearing masks, everybody is sanitizing, let's take care and continue to pray for our country. Until we meet again next week, I love you so much.
Zoe Life Radio, the abundant life experience.